Hi, everybody. Welcome to Time Zones and Time Meters. My name's Josh. This is Simon. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite bands, being Riverside. I know Simon's a fan of them as well. We're going to be ranking their discography and just chatting about, those albums. So welcome. How are you, Simon? You good?
I'm good. I thought I would, obviously, like you are the fan of Riverside. I like them too, but you're way more experienced in them. So I'm going to rely on you for a lot of stuff here. But I thought we would just go through the albums chronologically, and then we will probably get to what our relationship with these records are and what we think of them. And you had a 1 to 5 ranking for every record, or
I've had a discussion on
what
this
do you have
band before.
decimals?
So I have to do decibels, right? And if anything, it should be like out of a
How
hundred
many
because all
decimals?
of the nuances, you know. But but no, I stick to like a 1 to 10. And I group things into like categories of, do I like it? Do I really like it? That sort of stuff. Do I think it's a masterpiece or whatnot too? So,
So
but
S
anyway,
tier
yeah,
to
well,
E
I'll have
tier.
to. We'll have to do a whole episode on my tier listing because it's
All right.
complicated. It involves
Yeah.
it involves like mathematical equations and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah. So look, Riverside is a standout band for me. I'd say they're right up there with one of my favorite bands of all time. Specifically because of the diversity that's within their discography. I don't think
Sure.
they've really made a bad album at all.
No.
But there are some people I know that kind of really gel with certain sounds because they've kind of changed and mixed it up, especially their most recent one, right? So,
I think that uh, what makes what make bands that are good for a long time, it's usually the bands that does change their sound up, right? And I mean, with a mastermind like Marius uh,
Duda.
Duda, I mean, you could not see him doing the same thing record after record. He's got way too much going on in his mind. He would not get stuck in a route,
Yeah,
right?
no, I completely agree. But there's something that's quintessentially like his mind and the band themselves. So I also love that even though they change it up, they still have this
You hear
vibe
that
that
it's
still
them.
feels, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And there's
yeah.
there's no mistaking it really.
No. And I agree, they haven't made a bad one. However, they released when was the release? Out on Myself, 2011.
Uh, Out of Myself was released
Oh, that
in
was five.
2003, 2003.
2003 even.
Yeah,
10
yeah,
years
yeah.
Train of Thought in theater.
I
I
think the
had not heard
first,
of them then.
right, no, either had I, but I heard them in 2005-ish when Second Life Syndrome was kind of released. So somewhere around there, they're one of the first bands that I really got stuck into as well. So when Second Life Syndrome was released, I did that one, and then I did Out of Myself at the time, which was like a few years old or whatever.
Yeah. So Out of Myself, what do you think of that?
Look, I think it's a really good album. If you want a rating, I'd probably give it about an 8 out of 10. I think the tracks themselves are really strong. There's a few sort of highlights in there as well. I love the opening track. Oh, what's that called? I'd need to pull up my little lists because I'm drawing a blank on
It's
the
always
singles
on
within
the
it.
air.
That's right. But regardless, I'll get there in a second, I guess. I love the album. I love the concept behind it too. And of
Same
course, because
river.
there you go. That's right. Which I think is a bit of a favorite with the fans too. And of course, the recurring theme of a river in all of their stuff's kind of it's another thing too.
There's
Yeah,
also a
but
recurring theme of dreams. Through the
yes,
whole discography, right?
this is
And you have the reality dream suite, I guess, that started here.
yeah, there's three. The three of them, right? The first three albums was very much like that before they sort of branched into what would be next, ADHD or something maybe. which was still kind of a bit of part of that too. But anyway, so what do you think of the album?
Oh, I love it. I especially love the reality dream things, and I love that it's not per se that I love the more aggressive uh, eras of artists, but I do love the aggressive Riverside. Like it can go really hard. He can really put a harsh voice, really cathartic. Yeah, I really love this album. I would rank it as their third best.
Yeah, but as far as where would I put mine, I'd say it's one. Look, I'd say it's probably about fourth or fifth for me.
Right.
Fourth or fifth, I think. Um, yeah, I think it's definitely up there. It's definitely up there, and they're pretty close. I think some of them I would put very closely together. Um,
Yep.
yeah, and technically, from a ranking point of view, I do have some that are sort of tied, I guess. So,
Me too. Me too.
yeah, yeah.
But after this album, I understand they released an EP on their smaller Polish label before uh, Second Life Syndrome released,
Yeah, it was
and then
called
that
like
EP got released after again. I'm talking about the what's it
Panic Room,
called?
was it? Panic Room?
No. Voices in My Head,
Uh,
because
oh, right.
that one got like re-released after. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right. You're right. That's correct. Yeah, and it's actually my least listened to. It's my least listened to like piece of work. However, it's got some cool stuff on it. It's actually got some good stuff on it. I quite liked. I think it's Acronym Love on that album, if you can call that a EP.
yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know how the original release was, but the release that you can find now is at least half of it is live
Mm, mm.
stuff from the uh, debut album.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, I have also not spent a lot of time with it. But then comes, of
Um,
course, the big favorite. I'm guessing.
Well, I should probably say though that "In Two Minds" is a song from Out of Myself, which is one of my favorite Riverside songs. And it's not their most complex. It's not their most like, huge before. But in saying that, I really, really, really love it for its simplicity and the beautiful acoustic guitars and stuff in it too. So just before jumping to the next one, I was just going to say it was "In Two Minds" was the track that I couldn't think of the name for. And go figure, it's in the lyrics, right? But yeah, no. If we jump across to Second Life Syndrome, that's where it's at for me, and it's right up there with best album. Well, from any band, as far as I'm concerned, I think it's a masterpiece. I really do, and I think they really can't do anything wrong. Like with this album, everything just clicks. It works so well. And it just builds from this like beautiful sort of, I guess, sort of like chanting beginning, all the way through these huge ups and downs, and it's quite the experience, isn't it?
Absolutely, I agree 100%. I think it's well before the chanting, you have the whispering. It's
Yep.
very they really know how to kick off an album. You see that later also.
Mm.
But and I would say that the title track is one of the best songs ever, and that is what really got me a fan when I heard that song.
Mm.
It's really cool, 15 minutes epic with very complex things, very emotional things, and and I think the rest of the songs on that album, you can hear that they are on the same album. Like there's something that they do with the melodies or the chord structure, or maybe the keyboards. I don't know exactly, but you can hear, oh, this song is on this album, and I love
Yeah.
it when it is like that. Even though, I mean, yeah, stylistically, it's a lot like the album before and after, but you can really hear when it's that the songs from Second Life Syndrome, they have a certain feeling. Uh,
Yeah.
but I can't put my finger on it.
I completely agree. And as someone, I put it down to like the production as well as just the fact that they sort of keep within the same sort of tonal spectrum. Maybe is that I mean, that sounds a bit wanky to me, but you know what I mean. Like it's got
Quite possible.
that
Yeah.
sort of sound, yeah. It's I remember when I listened to it when I was younger, just talking about obviously the big epic Second Life Syndrome, which I loved, but also like Conceiving You was my brother's favorite song, so he used to love this, and most people I think who know this album rate that song really highly, but even just I don't know, like it's just got so many great tracks on it. I'm just having a quick look here. Yeah, like Voltaface, Artificial Smile, The Reality Dream, like the third one. Dance with the Shadows is interesting because that's the song that I go, what's that song again? And then when I
Yeah.
play it, I can sing along to it, hum along to it,
All right.
the whole thing as well. So
Now I need to play it as well because I also can't think of
but that's the thing. Like it's such a solid album too, and they flow really beautifully together. I think that it's hard to know exactly where you are in the experience.
Yep. Yep. Sure.
Okay,
So
so look,
it's
I
your
would
number one as well, right?
yeah, that's my number one hands down. Yeah.
Is it 10 out of 10 toasters or
Look, I gave it a
nine?
9.3. Yeah, a 9.3. I think it just edges into that sort of top tier for me. Yeah. There's got to be space for other things that are better. Like, there's got to be stuff out there. Right? And I'm always hunting for something that's up there.
Well,
So the third one was Rapid Eye Movement, and I remember being, I'm pretty sure it was, wasn't it? Yeah. And
yeah.
I was incredibly excited about this one when it came out. And I found myself, look, disappointed is way too strong a word because it's a great album as well. But I definitely, because of the previous album, I was just, I was really, really hoping that it would be,
Lots of bands
the
have a little bit of a hangover, right? Once they release their masterpiece.
yeah, that's right. So I think Rapid Eye Movement for me is probably their weakest. I think in all of their stuff, although it's definitely not bad. Please don't hear that. But I think the album ends better than it begins,
Oh,
and
really?
I do have that's how I feel. I definitely got this like, oh, that's a good track. That's a good track. That's a great track. That's a good track. Sure. And then I really like the ending of it. I really, really enjoy the ending of Rapid Eye Movement. I should pull up
My
my
favorite tracks from this album is O2 Panic Room and Schizophrenic Prayer. So they're like track
yeah.
2 and 3.
Right. Whereas I love Embryonic, I love Cybernetic Pillow, and I like The Ultimate Trip as well.
Hmm.
So I think those three at the end of it. Look,
I
maybe I
agree with
didn't.
you. It's not their strongest album, and I think it's a bit difficult to put this to rank the albums that are not in the top. I
Yeah,
would say that this is my number seven out of like they have 8 official
yeah.
studio albums. So, but when I listened to it yesterday, I was kind of reconsidering. But we'll go with number seven for now. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's for me. It's the eighth one. But look, it's real good. And if that's as weak as this band got, and everything they produced was this good, I'd still think they're a great band.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So the next one, I know it's an EP technically, but look, it's as long
So
as
is it?
Yeah, I think Anno Domini High
ADHD.
definition.
Yeah,
Yeah, ADHD. Thank you. I think technically speaking, it was released as an EP. But off the top of my head, it's like 50 minutes, right? Five
yeah,
tracks,
45 minutes.
50
Yeah,
minutes. Yeah, something like that.
yeah.
And so I'm rating it as it. And honestly, to not mention this would be terrible because I think most people would agree that this is one of the best things I've ever done.
Um, I don't agree with you.
Oh, go with it. Yeah.
No, I mean, I love Egoist, Hedonist, and but like most of the tracks here are not my favorite tracks, and have they just have such a strong discography that have not rated it up there with their top albums.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So I put it at number 5.
This album for me is a really interesting one because I would when I first heard it, I just didn't like it much. I ended up sort of so I did rapid eye movement, and then when they did ADHD, I just thought, oh wow, like okay, this is probably in the same category as that last album. But the funny thing is oh, with the exception of Left Out, which on my very first hearing I went, that song's one of the best songs I've ever heard. And for me, it stands up as probably their second best track ever done in all their entire discography.
I can't
So
even
I
think of
rate
what
it.
it sounds like.
It's the look. It's the big guitar one. It's got like one of the coolest guitar, I guess you call like a riffs in like all of their stuff. So you have to listen to it. You have to do it, and you'll be like, oh, that one, right? But so my first listening, that was the standout track, and so I just used to play the album just for that one track. Basically, I just put
Yeah,
that on repeat.
and the
But
rest were
but as
growers.
well, they really did for me. They really did, and it wasn't until probably like maybe like 3 years ago that I really had a good look at it, and again, and just went, oh, actually, this is a much stronger like work than what I thought it was. I actually had it on today. I chucked it up on my Instagram profile as something that's you know really substantial enough to write a story about. But yeah, so I really enjoy Egoist Hedonist. I think Hyperactive is actually a very good start to the album as well. And look, maybe it's a bit more aggressive, it's a bit punchier in some parts, but it just has this beautiful way of making you appreciate the space when the space turns up in the album too. So anyway, I like it. I would rate this one. Where am I? I've got this one rated in at about fourth. Yeah, it's like a tie for fourth place, I think.
By the way, if you look at Wikipedia,
Hmm.
it is listed as their fourth studio album, so it should be like the official.
Okay, there
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go.
And I
So
mean, 45 minutes is a long play.
yeah,
Even though I mean, when does this come out? Now we're
this
maybe
one,
at like 2011 territory.
yeah, it came out in. I'm just having a quick look to try and make sure I don't mess this up. ADHD came out in 2009. So
Yeah. So
yeah, it
that
was
was
about.
also in a time where I think now it's gone back to shorter albums, but yeah, 15 years ago, the albums were a bit longer. They were
Yeah.
usually around an hour, but now uh, you realize that it's probably better to make albums that are around 50 minutes or not more. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they have, but after that, they however, released an EP, Memories in My Head. I have not spent a lot of time with that. I don't know about you.
No, it's. I haven't. I've definitely gone through all of their EPs, but for me, it doesn't have anything that's particularly like memorable that stands out.
Right.
So the EPs themselves are a little bit less maybe loved by me.
Yeah.
But that was not in my list neither. So when I pulled them up, I was going with just the
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
full
Same.
album.
Same.
So yeah, yeah,
So then we have my number 2, Shrine of New Generation Slaves.
yeah.
Yeah. This is where I got into Riverside.
Right.
This is the first stuff I heard, and I guess the two biggest songs is um, "We Got Used to Us" and "The Depth of Self Delusion."
Yep.
And I remember it was not at release that I heard this. It was like a couple of years later, but I was impressed because it's like these mellow um, ballads basically, right?
Mm.
And it's a lot like Opeth's Damnation. And the first time I heard something that was equal to that. But
So
yeah,
so
the whole album is good.
you really rate this highly then?
I really rate this highly. Yeah, yeah. This is the second best stuff I would say. This album. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. I think the other song that a lot of people love is Escalator Shrine as well.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
also a good one.
that's
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So, but for me, We Got Used to Us was just on so many playlists I've had over the years. Like it's just
Yeah,
one of those ones where I just go, I love this, and it's one of those songs that just stayed rent free in my brain for so long, right?
and
But
I
I
guess what
think
they, yeah,
oh, no, what were we going
what
to?
they made with the sound here is that they made it less metal and more, a little bit more of a 70s, like it's more fuzz on the guitar, less distortion, right?
Yeah, I think they do step a little bit more into, I guess, more of a prog sound, like prog rock sound to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, and less
And they
prog
start to
metal.
become
Yeah,
maybe, yeah, a little bit more sort of artistic, maybe sort of rock as well. And for me, it's what's interesting is I've recommended Riverside to quite a few different people, and what's interesting is that I'll always recommend Second Life Syndrome for people to listen to, but for
yeah,
anyone who is sort of likes their prog stuff, they always come back and say, "Oh my God, why didn't you recommend Shrine of the Generation Slaves?" Because they
yeah,
just fall in love with it. They say that is this is the epitome of this band. And for me, maybe because I'm a bit more like I like my metal a bit more, maybe
yeah.
that's why the other album sort of stood out a little bit for me. But this one is look, it's a beautiful. Like it's a good album. I think I gave it like a 7.8ish. So that would put it after ADHD for me. That would also put it after Out of Myself and Second Life Syndrome. So I guess that sort of fits in at about fifth, but it's good. Yeah.
Um, yeah, 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 and yeah, indeed. Well, those two mentioned, I think, is one of my top five Riverside tracks, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, all right. Love, Fear, and the Time Machine.
Okay. Well, look, I really like this album. I feel like I'm just saying it over and over and over.
Yeah,
But
it's true though. Yeah,
when I think of this album, I think of Lost. Why should I be frightened by a hat? I think that song is awesome. Just so good. I love the length of it. I love the way it builds. I love the silly title and sort of the way that it's put together. I think it's that song is right up there with again one of the better I think just tracks they've released. Within this one, I also quite like Time Travelers. Yeah, I like Under the Pillow as well. It's got some real like good stuff in it, but yeah, the big standouts for me is just the first track, Lost, and Time Travelers. And so I think there's just a bit of sort of average middling to this. And so for me, I probably would rate this. Oh, look, it's definitely better than Rapid Eye Movement in my books, but this one's probably going to sit at probably seventh, which is sad because it's a good album, but yeah, I think I'd have to rate it at seventh. What about you?
I rank it in the middle.
Hmm.
It's my number four. I think, except for Lost, I also think Saturate Me and Pound are awesome tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they indeed stay in this more softer space than the
Mm.
first albums. I do not mind that with them at all. I think it's high quality. It's not my favorite, but I really like this album too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is where they took a real turn for me in that I really started to appreciate the non-metal, like
Uh,
not the earlier days. Like they were really growing on me by this stage. And I think with the two albums, like Slaves and also Love Here, the both of them just were really, really good, complementary. And they sort of just showed maybe a composition and thoughtfulness to the composition, sorry, that I just really loved. And they create some real beautiful moments.
when did they lose their guitar player?
So I think this was the last one with him in it, I think, if I remember correctly. So I think Piotr, he passed, I'm pretty sure at the end of this one. So yeah, 2016.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, is when that happened. So
And
yeah.
yeah, exactly. This was released in 2000, 2015. So yeah, yeah, yeah. That was should be the last one then. Yeah. And they of course had this little compilation thing in between here, Sound of the Eye of the Soundscape, which is basically just a soundscape album, right? It's just like ambient things. Although I really like it, but sure, it's not an official release. Um, but it's cool that they had enough of the ambient stuff to make a full length album
Mm.
interesting. But I don't know. We're not gonna get stuck on that. I thought, unless you have something to say about it.
Not particularly. I thought it was again like Duda does this a bit too, doesn't he? Like he's always got his other project, like the
Right.
Lunatic Soul stuff too, and I love the Lunatic Soul like things, and so I think there's always this. Oh, you don't.
I
Um,
don't. Or maybe I just
um,
hasn't heard the right stuff yet. But
yeah, I think well, just to like, I mean, slight divergent path here, everyone who's listening. I think Lunatic Soul has some really strong stuff within some of the CD, like some of the albums, but and he did one of them which is really really good, which is the one that has Navi and I think it's Through Shaded Woods or something it's called. I loved that one. It's more acoustic, so like if you're going to check anything out, check that one out first.
will do.
That's
Yeah.
really good. But the other ones I would just sort of pick a song here, a song there, a song here, a song there from which I think are pretty good. But yeah, coming back to what you were just saying about that, I think he's released a few little things like that which are quite artistically, they're very good, but just not the topic of today's discussion. So I haven't come prepared to discuss that too much.
Right.
If
Well,
if
then
I'm
there's
honest,
two albums left then.
yeah,
Wasteland,
yeah. So this is my number
2018,
two.
I believe.
Yeah, this one's my number two. I thought this was unreal. This was to me the death of Piotr. I think I'm pronouncing this correctly. I'm
Sure.
a bo. Oh, there you go. Great. I knew a guy who had that name who was from Poland, funnily enough, as well, and he always said, "Just call me Peter."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the same name, right?
So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So
Just call me
look.
Piotr.
Well, and that was kind of a close impersonation of what he sounded like too. But look, this band, I think when they did this album, I was really worried about like what are they going to sound like now? And to me, it's such a tribute to their ex-guitarist death, and it's kind of it's this somber, heartfelt, like emotional, like roller coaster of an album. And I really think this is ridiculously good, like ridiculously good, and has some again like multiple tracks in it that would be up there with my favorites, yeah, of all time. And I think it's nearly like the tribute to their former team sort of member is just so strong in it. And I was worried because one of the reasons I loved Riverside up till that point was the guitar, like these soaring, beautiful, like melodies that were sort of punched out were just so special to me. And to have that gone, I was a bit worried. But this album was just such a fantastic one for me. What did you think?
See, that's where you notice how context matters, right?
Yeah.
If you have that background story, you will just perceive it differently.
Mm.
And why? Yeah, we can put decimals on the and how we
The
rank it,
ratings.
but yeah, but in the end, it's impossible to do, right? And
Mm.
my relationship with this album is completely different because I somehow had missed it. And when preparing
Mm.
for this episode, I had to look it up, and I went like, "Oh, have I even listened to this album?" And I did not really recognize the songs when I listened to it. So I think I only have one listen of this. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
right. That's
and
cool. Okay. So here you go. Here's my quick rundown, if you haven't.
yeah,
when Acid Rain's great. Like I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
great. It gets the heart rate going a little bit. It's got some cool stuff in it. But once you get to Veil of Tears and they drop that dirty like guitar
yeah.
moment in it, like I think that's a I don't know, a goosebump kind of
It was
kind of song for
what
me.
I noted from it. Well, at first I made at least notes about the opening part of the album, and
Mm,
it opens once again just like with Second Life Syndrome, etc. It has like this super cool opening of an album with an intro track,
yeah,
and indeed I think Acid Rain has you going like with a stanky face. It's really cool track. Um,
yeah,
Veil of Tears, I thought had like a corny beginning, but then there's the instrumental section
yeah,
that it is doing what they do so good. Also, other artists like Steven Wilson does this really good that they can really turn it into like a trance. You know, it's 2 minutes later, and you're going, "Oh, I'm still listening to this track." You know, because
yeah,
you're so you're so out and just enjoy it.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
and when you said lame with Veil of Tears, I kind of get what you mean too. Like that, what's the line? Something through the desert or whatever. He just keeps saying it over and over, and like that. I know exactly what you mean, but just the second half of that song just hits
yeah,
so freaking hard that it's just a real memorable moment for me. Guardian Angel, I think, is great. Like, and it's a touching song. So maybe do that one a few times, but Laments.
yeah.
Oh my God, the
Also cool
Father, can you
track. Yeah,
take me away?
yeah,
It's like, oh my God. Like that's another one for me, which again is a real goosebump kind of provoking track and one that I just think is so heartfelt that it's right up there with one of the most emotional sort of songs I've heard. Struggle for Survival. Oh, River Down Below, I absolutely love. Like River Down Below, I think it's a little bit like that track, In Two Minds from Out of Myself. Like it's got this similar vibe in that it's not their most complex, but they've written a really beautiful, touching, like more acoustic kind of sounding like track in that, which I love. And then you've got Wasteland, the title track, and I just think it's good. It's a great epic. Yeah, and then the night before is just it's an okay closer, right? But I think God, I'm just looking at the list now. That's a good album to me. So that's why it's my number two, though, and that's why you should definitely listen to this.
right.
Yeah,
Just between parentheses, we got 6 minutes, which I think is just enough for
yeah, we'll get
the.
it through.
Well, I mean, I have to say, just before we go further to ID.Identity,
Mm,
um, there's a live album in between, Lost and
mm,
Found,
yep.
which I think basically all the standout tracks from, with exception of Second Life Syndrome and the depth of self delusion.
Hmm.
That for the rest, I think all the standout tracks are on there. So I feel like if you have Second Life Syndrome, you have New Generation Slaves, uh, and and uh, and this live album, I basically that would be my top three. But sure, live albums are not the official ranking, right? Uh,
Yeah, no, it's a really good compilation of stuff. Like
yeah,
it's really good, really
and the
solid too.
performance is really good. And I don't know all the songs way too well, but I think that they kind of expand on some songs with it making it more, more expensive live edition of some songs, which is cool.
It's one of look. I haven't seen this band live. That's on my like bucket list, I guess. I really,
Yeah,
really,
same,
really want to
same.
see them. I don't know if they've come to Australia before. I don't think so. They might have, but I missed it if they did. And so for me, I'd love to see them. So that compilation, I guess you'd call it, is one of the reasons why I just go, oh, they just sound so good. So I'd love
Yeah.
to.
All right.
So
ID.Identity.
ID entity, yeah. I
ID.Entity. All right. Yeah, that's
I loved
wordplay.
it. I thought it was great. I love the way they changed their sound up for it. I think it's a really strong and very memorable album, and it was up there with my best album of that year. So, what do you think?
It was also up there with the top albums of that year for me. I don't know if it was not the winner, but it's surely top three, top five.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the opening track, Friend
Friend
or
or foe.
Foe. Yeah,
Yeah.
uh, I it's like it has this slow build, and then they have this riff which sounds like Tears for Fears or Aha or something, new
Mm.
wave things. But they keep it proggy. I don't know if it's a 7-8 minute song or something like that. And I really think that track is the highlight of the album.
Mm.
And then they kind of go back to stuff that you heard before. I think I really wish they would expand more on that 80s stuff, which I think they
Yeah.
don't do enough on it,
I
because I
look.
thought it was really fresh.
I thought it was really fresh as well, and I liked it. And I quite like those soundscapes too. So it's for me.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
kind of sold when I heard it. I got quite excited when I heard that dropped as the spoiler, I guess, or the teaser for the
okay.
album too. But yeah. So Friend of Foe was good. I really love Post Truth. I know it's one of their maybe. Some people don't like it, but other people really do. I really, really liked Post Truth. The Place Where I Belong was great. And I thought the end of it, Self Aware, was basically as strong as Friend or Foe. I think Self Aware and Friend or Foe are really, really, really good. And I think it's a good start and a good end. Although I do have to say the deluxe edition of this, which has Age of Anger and Together Again, those are they're really good.
Okay.
So maybe check out the
I've not
deluxe
heard
edition
that.
as
No,
well.
no, no. I have
Yeah,
not heard those.
yeah. So definitely check that out for those two extra tracks too. But
Okay.
I would say this is a tie second or maybe third for me behind sort of Wasteland. So I guess to sum up, I've got Second Life Syndrome at 1, Wasteland at 2, ID.Entity at 3, probably ADHD at 4. Five's going to be Out of Myself or Shrine of the New. That they would be like a tie for me. And then that means that Love, Fear, and the Time Machine would probably be at 7, and then 8 is Rapid Eye Movement.
No, no, no. Yeah, let's see here. Well, my final order would be Second Life Syndrome is 1, Shrine is 2, Out of Myself is 3, Love, Fear, and the Time Machine is 4, ADHD is 5, and Wasteland I put at number 6. But I mean, I need to listen to it more, obviously. And then I have ID.Entity and Rapid Eye Movement tied for 7th.
Hmm.
And no
Yeah, right.
disrespect to any album that is not high on the list. I mean, just check out this band if you haven't. The discography is great.
Yeah, I really agree. I'm sure I have a few friends that are big Riverside fans too, and the interesting thing is they'll probably agree with you. That's the funny thing, because I think I think I'm a little different to their musical preferences. But look, I'd love to hear from you guys who are watching from home on the YouTube. Yeah, I'd love to hear your comments as well. You can find both Simon and I on Instagram, The Prog Wanderer, or Simon's Album Reviews. Please like, subscribe, click links, and give us a bit of feedback. We'd love that. Otherwise, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for joining us today. And yeah, look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye now.